It happened at home. On an ordinary day. There was no shouting in the morning, no argument beforehand. I was in the kitchen. I was cooking. He came in later. His face was tense. His hands were clenched. I noticed it immediately but said nothing. I had already learned to stay silent because any word could trigger aggression. We had been living in tension for a long time. Not 1 year. He grew up, but did not take responsibility. He lived at my expense. He took money. He did not help. I paid for utilities, for food, for treatment. He demanded more. When I refused, shouting started. Insults. Threats. That day he was angry because of money. He needed it urgently. I said I did not have any. That was the truth. I showed my wallet. He did not believe me. He said I was hiding it. He said I was lying. I stayed silent again. He came closer. Very close. I felt the smell of anger. He said, "Give it." I said, "There is none." He hit the table. The knife was lying nearby. I did not have time to react. He grabbed the knife. I thought he was trying to scare me. I had thought so before. I always thought he would not cross the line. I was wrong. He swung his arm sharply. I raised my arm instinctively. The blade went through the skin. I felt a sharp pain. Not blood right away. First burning. Then warmth. Then I saw blood flowing down my arm. He did not stop immediately. He looked at me. He did not apologize. He did not drop the knife. He said, "Now you will tell me." That was the scariest part. Not the cut itself, but the fact that he was not afraid of what he had done. I stepped back. I pressed my arm. Blood was flowing. I started shaking. He stood and watched. Then he left the kitchen. He just walked away, as if nothing had happened. I was left alone, with a knife wound, in my own apartment, from my own son. I did not scream. I did not cry. I took a towel, wrapped my arm, sat down. It was hard to breathe. Not from pain, from realization. This was not an accident. He did not push me. He did not lose control. He took a knife and cut me. I called an ambulance. My hands were shaking. My voice was calm. I gave the address. I said I was cut. I did not say by whom. I was ashamed. Yes, ashamed that it was my son. The medics arrived quickly. They looked at the wound. They said it was deep. They treated it. They asked how it happened. I told the truth. They exchanged looks. They asked if I wanted to file a report. I was silent. I did not know what to answer. At the hospital, they stitched the wound. The doctor did not look me in the eyes. He understood everything. He had seen such stories more than once. They told me to protect my arm. They said a scar might remain. I returned home. My son was at home. He was lying down, looking at his phone. He did not ask how I was. He did not apologize. He did not look at my arm. He acted as if nothing had happened. I said he had crossed the line. He laughed. He said I was exaggerating. He said I had pushed him to it. He said it was my fault. At that moment, I understood. It was the end. Not of the family. Not of the relationship. But of the illusion. The illusion that he was a child. That it was a mistake. That he would change. It was an adult man who raised a knife against his own mother. After that, I started to be afraid. I slept with the door locked. I hid the knives. I lived in constant tension. I listened to every step. I was afraid to say a word. He became even angrier. He felt impunity. He saw that I did not go to the police. That I was silent. It gave him power. I lived with a person who injured me physically and mentally. I woke up and thought whether I would live to see the evening. This is not an exaggeration. This is a fact. Many times I replayed that moment. If I had not raised my arm, the knife would have been in my stomach or neck. This is the truth. One movement decided everything. I did not look for excuses. I did not think he was angry. I did not think about a hard childhood. I also had a hard life. But I did not take a knife. I started gathering my things. Little by little. He did not notice. I was preparing to leave. Not because I wanted to, but because I wanted to live. When I left, he said I had betrayed him. He said I had abandoned him. He did not mention the knife. He did not mention the blood. He did not mention the hospital. I no longer lived with him. But the scar remained. On my arm and in my head. I will never again say he could not. He could. And he did. This is not a story about forgiveness. And not about reconciliation. This is a story about a fact. My son cut me with a knife. And after that I stopped closing my eyes.